So let me just get into my bag, my lawyer bag, very quickly before I address Alexis. So, because this is all we're discussing this video, because it's the only thing worth talking about. So John is alleging that there was a verbal agreement between him and Shannon that she was going to pay him back the money that he was giving her. So you're probably wondering, will a verbal agreement hold up in court? Yes, it will. But it is very difficult to prove because both parties have to admit that there was an agreement and agree on what the terms of the agreement were. So basically, it's he said, she said in this instance. So it's going to be very hard. And so what Emily was talking about you can't do a promissory note after the fact, what John is claiming is that they had a verbal agreement and the promissory note is a document that is confirming their agreement. So it's not after the fact. He's just saying, okay, we talked about it and then I put it in writing and gave it to you to sign. Because as I said, verbal agreements are very difficult to prove. So that's what because Emily didn't have that information when Andy asked her the question because they hadn't seen this clip yet. So that's what he's trying to do. And so that's why he's trying to make the promissory note matter. But Shannon is saying that she didn't sign it. So it doesn't matter anyway, because she's saying she didn't sign it. So, yeah, most likely he would not be able to prove that they had a verbal agreement because Shannon is going to say, I didn't agree to that. I never agreed that it was a loan. So, in case anybody was wondering about that, now we got that out of the way. All right. So, Miss Alexis, I've said this before. I highly doubt Alexis will ever see this. And if she does, I highly doubt it will matter. But Alexis, you look like a complete and utter fool because you are defending a man who what his real goal was is just to antagonize Shannon. Like, let's be honest, because if it was about money, he would have taken the money and he would have been done with it. And even though I don't like Emily, the point that she made was correct. It actually would have made sense to come to this agreement and have Shannon sign a non-disparagement clause before they started filming, because then the entirety of them filming this show, Shannon couldn't have spoken about him poorly, and if she did, he could have sued her. So it doesn't make sense for him not to agree to that. What does make sense is that this is not about money at all. What it's about is, for some reason, John still wants to have a reason to have a connection to Shannon and to discuss Shannon. That's what this is really about. And Alexis, and this is what Alexis thinks, because many women have done what Alexis is doing. Alexis thinks, because of all the negative things that John has told her about Shannon, that she's better than Shannon, that she's different than Shannon, and that John would never do to her what he's doing to Shannon. Alexis, baby, I don't know why your mother hasn't told you this. I don't know if her mother's still alive. Hopefully she is, but I don't know why your mother hasn't told you this. I don't know why your friends haven't told you this. That is not true, sweetheart. You're not any different. You're not any better than Shannon. And Alexis, John and Shannon were not even married. They just dated for 5 years. If he will do all this to Shannon, you're getting ready to marry him. What do you think he'll do to you in a divorce? Like unless John greatly emotionally matures and evolves, it is a horrific idea for you to marry this man. Absolutely horrific. And it does not make sense that you as a woman could watch him do all this and still desire to marry him. And also, Alexis, you as a woman, your sole purpose being to come on this show and antagonize Shannon when you very easily could have just said, I'm not even going to talk about the lawsuit on the show. I'm not even going to talk about what Shannon may or may not owe John. You could have chosen that. And what you could have made your story be about is, I actually do want to try and see if I can have a friendship with Shannon. And then your friendships with the other ladies. That's what your storyline could have been. You chose not to do that. So from me to you, woman to woman, Alexis, the way that you behaved towards Shannon is absolutely despicable and disgusting. Like, I'm pretty sure you have a daughter. And you should want your daughter to treat women better than the way that you treated Shannon. Because you're a voice for John for no reason. Like, Shannon, all Shannon said about John was that she paid for everything. That's all she said, which is really not even that big of a deal. Who cares? So, Alexis, you completely embarrassed yourself this season. And you embarrassed yourself just to be a friend of. And because I have no idea what these 5 shows she's talking about she's been on. If somebody knows, feel free to put it in the comments, because I have no idea what she's talking about. But you embarrassed yourself. You made a fool out of yourself. You look fucking ridiculous to defend a man who, mark my words, if you marry, you will be divorced from. So you are defending a relationship that will fail. Absolutely. It is 2:20 a.m. on November 22nd, 2024, on the East Coast of the United States of America. Mark my motherfucking words. This marriage, if they get married anytime soon, this marriage will fail. This marriage will not work. John is not an emotionally evolved human being. So, you embarrassed yourself as a woman, Alexis, and I don't see how you're going to come back from that, because you're not going to be on the show next year, Alexis. So you did all this for, no, I wouldn't even say 15 minutes of fame. You did all this for 5 minutes of fame, because the story has run its course. They're not going to bring you back for this. So, yeah. Like, y'all did all this to try to make Shannon's life a living hell. And the person that won is Shannon. So, yeah. Best of luck in life, Alexis.